Hey y'all, Little Drummer Boy here, and today I'm at an old railroad bridge in between Claremont and Catawba, North Carolina on the Western North Carolina Railroad. It became Southern Railroad in 1896 and then became Norfolk Southern about 40 years ago in 1980. And I've known about this bridge my whole life, but I thought it was more modern. I figured it was like 1920s, but I recently found out talking to somebody, and you might be from Hickory, North Carolina Facebook group that knows about the history of the railroad, that this bridge was one of the original bridges on the railroad, built in 1859, just before the first train came into Catawba County and came to Catawba Station. Well, actually, Catawba Station was built in 1856, so this one is in between Claremont and Catawba, so it would have been built before the first train came to Claremont in 1859. Very interesting, and from the road it looks like it's just concrete, but as you can see here, these are wooden beams. At least the foundation of it is wooden beams. You can see the imprints of the wood. What's the word I'm looking for? See right there, there's like, you know what I'm talking about. But on up higher, I can still see them, but then other places like right here, you can see where there's old ancient concrete made with stone. So I guess it's like a combination of wood and concrete. It's amazing because this thing is built 1859. It's 161 years old, and trains go across it every day. About the last I heard, there's about 4 trains, coal trains, that go to Marshall Steam Station through here every day, and there's freight trains that go through here every day. Passenger trains haven't ran regularly on this line since about 1980, when Norfolk bought out Southern. They quit the passenger service. But you can imagine all the history here. I mean, built in 1859, right? So, and there's this thing does not look all that safe, really. I mean, there's cracks in it. I'm like, oh my gosh, trains are going across this thing every day. And up there is a cross tie about to fall off of it. But, and there's one missing in the middle, the cross ties that kind of make a border for it. I guess it fell in the creek. A nice little creek here, and there's a little rapid down the creek here too. It's really pretty and peaceful here. I can't believe how clear the water is. And it's very shallow. I bet kids have a great time playing here in the summer. But yeah, 1859 railroad bridge, parallel to Old Catawba Road, in between Catawba and Claremont, North Carolina. And so yeah, you can imagine all the steam trains that cross this thing. And being in 1859, just before the Civil War, a lot of Confederate troops no doubt would have went across this bridge to war, and many of them didn't come home or came home in a box. And then again in World War I and World War II, a lot of the troops, including my great uncles Marvin and Ross from Claremont, who fought in World War I, would have no doubt crossed this bridge on their way to Fort Bragg or wherever they took basic at. And then my papa was a cook on the Southern Railroad. He was an Army cook, 1923 to 25. So now he probably took this one to Fort Bragg also, where he was stationed. But he learned to cook in the Army, and he was a cook in a shanty car on a freight train. And so I'm sure Papa went across this bridge many times as a young man around 1926, 27. I think about 1925, 26 probably was when he was working the railroad. But it's just amazing, all the history of places like this. I wonder how many trains have been across it in the last 161 years. Thousands upon thousands. Very cool, especially if you're into railroading or history. I may go do another video down at the railroad trestle too. I heard that it was washed out in the flood of 1916. The railroad trestle was, when Lookout Dam busted, and the railroad trestle was washed out and had to be rebuilt in 1916. But it's also over 100 years old and still in use. And look up there where the bridge meets the abutment. There's like a gap there. This thing does not look safe at all to me. I'm no bridge inspector, and I like preserving history, but you don't want a train falling in the creek. I'm sure the railroad inspects it though, and they must deem it fit for use. But to me, it looks pretty dilapidated. Anyway, this is the railroad bridge in between Claremont and Catawba, North Carolina, parallel to Old Catawba Road if you want to come see it. Built in 1859 or so, I hear. All right, little drummer boy, hope you drumheads are having a blessed day. Peace.